Hey, it's Chris here today from Huckabones Equipment. We got a little bit of a special tractor behind me. It's the M7 172 from Kubota. Today's video is going to be an overview of the whole tractor as well as an explanation of the M7 lineup. So stick with us. We'll do what we always do, start at the front and work our way to the back. When talking about the M7 lineup, you got three choices of horsepower. So you either have the 130, 150, or 170 horsepower. The most popular ones out there are the 150 and the 170. It is the first tractor in Kubota's lineup that is more of a component tractor. It's not exclusively 100% Kubota. So even though they still make the engine and the cabs, the transmission is ZF and you have a Dana front end on it. So speaking of transmissions, you have a couple choices with it. We have two choices. You can either go power shift or KVT, which is a CVT transmission. And again, it's hit or miss which one you're looking for. The power shift's been popular for us, but you'll see lots of KVTs out there as well. So, and then talking about this is a Dash 2. So before that, whenever Kubota originally released the M7s, they were a little bit rushed to market. So they had quite a few issues with them. Some small, some major. Once these tractors actually hit the field is whenever they started noticing these issues and had to correct a lot of them. And that's where we'll see a lot of changes in these Dash 2s to correct all that. It's not that the M7 was a bad tractor for, just needed some updating. Two of the biggest differences you're going to notice between a Dash 1 and a Dash 2 is to do with the engine and transmissions. It has now gone to a 5-range 6 gears, and before it was 6-range 4 gears. Again, not going to notice much difference in that in day-to-day use, other than it has actually made it smoother. Whenever these tractors under load, it's a little bit more difficult to change ranges, right? So whenever you can lessen that, whenever you're out doing PTO work or tillage work, where it just gives you more choices in between, makes it a lot more smoother instead of kind of having to come to a stop to go up a range or down a range. It just makes life a little bit easier on yourself and a little bit smoother operation of the tractor. And you know, with that, the improved engine performance, they've lowered the rated engine speed from 2200 RPM down to 21 and lowered the maximum output speed from 22 down to 1900 RPM. This has resulted in a better performance and output in the engine speed range, which is used for PTO or towing work. And because of this, the lower engine speed has also resulted in better fuel economy and reduced engine noise. So, you know, very handy to have all this. It just makes it a little bit better of a tractor, especially under load whenever you're using it as it should be. So yeah, so those are some of the two biggest differences between the one and the two. Starting out front on these M7, you can put loader on it. You know, out west, you're going to see a lot of these tractors being used as just a loader tractor, whereas here in Ontario and most of Quebec, these are considered a rather large tractor for field operation, for field work. So that kind of gives you an idea from east to west what you can kind of see, you know, generally speaking. You know, up front here, you're going to have anywhere from a 96-inch to 108-inch bucket, depending on what you're doing. And then out front here, they come standard with your third function and soft ride. And then it's electronic on and off for your soft ride. And again, you can easily put fourth or fifth function out front there, depending on what you're needing for those tractors. And again, you have two choice loader. You can either go with the Kubota loader or the Owl loader. Again, we strongly recommend going with the Owl loader. You're going to be quite a bit happier in the operation of the units. Again, Owl's tried, trusted, and true. They really have an idea. They really know what they're doing, kind of idea. You know, your lift capacity on this is pretty massive. You know, it does do about 6,000 pounds at the pivot pin. So I think the Kubota one's a little bit less, around 5,700. So yeah, so that's the thing to know on these. They lift a ton, literally, and they work pretty well. The big thing to know too is it's electronic on the joystick, not mechanical. Again, you could get that option on an M6, but it's exclusively on the M7, where it is standard equipment, which is really nice when you're operating it. Makes it a little bit more difficult if you're trying to feather it, as there is that delay whenever it is electronic. Whenever you start operating it is one of the downsides to it. But once you get the hang of it, you get used to it or see it a few times, you really understand how it operates and compensate for that. So that's some of the neat features that are on the front of front loader for an M7. So when dealing with the M7 lineup, you're going to have three horsepower choices, either 130, 150, or 170 horsepower. And it is a 4-cylinder engine under there, producing all that horsepower. And then after that, whenever you move up to the front axle here, like as I mentioned before, it is a Dana front end on it. And then after that, tire choices. Big deal whenever you get up into these tractors. There is a ton of choices. You can get right down to very, very narrow front's there for ag, for row cropping, with duals on the back. Yeah, there's just a ton of choices in tires. It's best to go to your local dealership and kind of sit down, figure out what would work best for you. Because yeah, there's pretty well unlimited choices for what you're looking for. And then moving a little bit farther back, you have your cab suspension. You can either go air or mechanical. Both work great. If you're going to be in that field all day long, you're going to go air, but it does add quite a bit to the cost. So it's hit or miss which one you're going to go with. Both work great and both function when they need it. And then after that is your rear end on these. For your rear axles, you got a choice. You either go flange, or as you can see in this case is a bar axle. This particular tractor might at some point get duals on it, so that is why he has gone that way. So those are the few key features to know when talking about or choosing what you want for your M7. So it kind of gives you a little bit of an update on that as to what's available for it. So the cabs of these M7 are rather impressive. There is a lot going on and a lot of information, and you know, we could spend a lot of videos just talking about what is going on in this cab. So we're just kind of cover the bases, and maybe in the future spend a little bit more time getting down to the nitty-gritty of it. So the thing to know is your forward reverser, being electronic, is a little bit different than the other setups that you'd see on like an M6 or anything, as you just kind of go forward or reverse with it, and then to put it in neutral you press down on it. So you're like, oh, that's no different. Well, it is a little bit different, a little bit something to get used to if you've used a lot of M6s or M5s in the past, to get used to have the forward reverser on that. After that, this cab has a lot of lights to it. The tractor has a lot of lights to it, whether it's you know, your front and rear work lights and extra work lights after that. You know, this particular tractor we upgraded all to LED, as we think it's necessary with this size of tractor, and you are going to be using it late into the evenings and putting lots of hours on them, so you want to be able to see when something is in front of you or behind you. So you can't have enough light, and we've really added to it with putting extra LEDs and upgrading the standard lights to the LEDs. So that's the little bit of spiel on the lights on these. Is there's a lot, and now I strongly recommend, if you are getting one, to upgrade to the LED work light option. So after that, you know, you jump over to the monitor. It either comes in a 7-inch or you can upgrade to a 12-inch. That monitor tells you everything you want to know about this tractor, and lots of information. Really, it's way too much information, and it is kind of clunky sometimes to move through it till you really understand it, which is good and bad. You know, we had the previous video there on the baler monitor, and really that's a simple monitor. It really tells you all the information at a couple touches button, where this one tells you, it overloads you with information. There is way too much there. It's not like it's hard to go in there, and if you know what you're looking for, to find it. It's just to come up with that knowledge is going to take a lot of time. So yeah, so you can scroll through it. It's going to tell you everything you want to know about this tractor performance wise, what it is and isn't doing for you. But to get to that level of confidence where you're going to make lots of changes on there, it takes quite a while. You know, the operator's manual for this unit is over 400 pages. So so again, we could deep dive into it, and we probably will in the future, but for now, that's just kind of a quick overview, as it tells you a lot of information, whether you need it or not. So talking about the shifting of the transmission and everything, it's a couple ways to do it. You know, make it nice and slick and easy right from here. There's a forward reverse button right from the little joystick here, and then after that you can shift ranges, go up and down by either moving back or forth to go up and down on your gears. So, and then after I mentioned before, you have your electronic joystick is here. Again, everything's going to move right from there, and whether you mount third or fourth function is all available right here. And then when you get into PTO work, a couple different switches, turning it on and off, raising and lowering your 3-point hitch, as well as using your rear sets remotes, as it does come standard with a number of sets, so you kind of want to be able to operate them all. So, and it is all right here, right from this one console area. So again, pretty much everything you want to do with this tractor is right here. Yeah, it gives you a good idea. The cab overall is pretty spacious for this size of tractor. It's pretty much the same size what you're going to see on an M6, just with a few upgrades overall. So yeah, and then you still have your heat and air conditioning. Again, air conditioning will be hard to keep up with this much glass, but it does as good a job as you're going to get. It does cool you down in the heat of the summer, and then cools, keeps you warm in the winter. So to give you an idea that way. So now we're going to move on talking about the 3-point hitch on this beast. So when talking about the 3-point hitch on a M7, the thing to know is what these lift arms can do at 24 inches, and in this case it's just over 12,000 pounds. So which is quite a bit whenever you consider that the tractor itself with shipping weight is around 15,000 pounds. So once you put a loader and loader up, you know, you're going to be around 17,000 pounds. So yes, that's quite a bit of lift out this 3-point hitch. After that, some of the options that you'll see here is that it has the Power Beyond on it. Again, as we mentioned before, this particular unit is going to a farm that has an all-in-one cloth baler, so it needs that to power it, or to help power it. After that, whenever you start getting into your rear remotes, you know, you're going to get quite a few there. Standard is on the 150 and 170 horsepower units is its closed center hydraulics. So be mindful of that whenever you're getting rear implements. And then after that, you know, in Canada here we have a couple of rancher editions, they call it, where these rear remotes will be more basic, and then just have kind of a lever, mechanical operation. Whereas whenever you get up into this deluxe one, it's more electric controls. So you want to be mindful of that, whatever you kind of need to operate it. So, so that kind of gives us a little bit of a spiel on what's available on the 3-point hitch of an M7. So yeah, so that brings us to the end of today's video when talking about the M7. I really hope you enjoyed it, as there's quite a bit of information there. We're hoping in the future to bring you some videos talking about that armrest and the monitor, as there's again way too much information to do on a quick video. So you know, as time becomes available to us, hopefully we can bring that to you. So again, really hope you enjoyed today's video. If you did, please like and subscribe, and if you have any comments, please leave them down below.